So, hello everybody, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Millennial Agora podcast. I am your host, Scala Botrami, along with my co-host,
Mikuláš Foska.
and this is a brand new podcast brought to you by the Millennial Agora online publication. This podcast is going to be sort of a recap of the news, opinions, literature, all that kind of stuff. It is both a news podcast and a pop culture podcast. And we're going to explain to you today who we are, what we're about, who we individually are, and then dive into some of the material for today. So first things first, you can access all of these podcasts on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Millennial Agora, and they are also going to be posted on our website, millennialagora.com. So go view our website and follow us on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter, everything Millennial Agora, for your reading and listening pleasure. So we are a independent news publication that covers politics and also culture and lifestyle and literature and basically and sports and everything. So we have a lot of great contributors from all around the world helping us everywhere from Houston, Texas to Prague, the Czech Republic, helping us to grow this organization that we have. And we're helping people to become better educated on the issues of the world. And this podcast is going to be sort of what you can find on our website, sort of in an audio format, since podcasts are great and they're popular and people love listening to them, and so I think that's kind of what this is going to be. So as I said before, we are an independent media publication. Our goal is to educate people and not to persuade people. So we are not going to be on this podcast talking about how great one political ideology is and how terrible another one is. It's going to be less opinion and more sort of fact-based. But we want this to be a real community of people who come together and share their opinions, share their ideas in an open environment. And that's what we call the Agora. For those of you who don't know, the Agora was the central meeting point and marketplace of the great cities of ancient Greece. And it was a place for people of all societal backgrounds and socioeconomic levels that come together and talk about their lives and their opinions and their thoughts. And that's what we want to make just on the Millennial Agora, which is the internet. The internet now is a meeting point of all different types of people. And while comment sections and news publications can become very toxic atmospheres of people belittling others and talking about how one person is terrible and another person is great, our Agora is a non-toxic environment. People can come together and talk about their opinions, their emotions, and their ideas, and try to help to make the world a better place. So today we're going to be sort of introducing ourselves, who we are, how we met, and then talking a little bit about a thing that maybe some of you have heard of, the COVID pandemic, and about how we've both been getting through this time. So, as I said before, my name is Skylar. I'm American. I was born in New York City, and now I live now in Houston, Texas, because of COVID, but I normally live in Germany, going to university, studying history and sociology there. And I've always had a big passion for the news and for politics. And ever since, I would say, about 2008, I can remember very distinctly watching the celebration speech of Barack Obama after he won the election. And that was sort of the first time I really cared, I would say, about politics. I was 12 years old then. And ever since then, I've been really into politics and into both American and international politics. And over the years, I've acquired more and more hobbies and passions, including history, which I'm now studying, and also literature. So that's why the website that myself and Mikuláš are building kind of encompass all of those ideas and all of those topics. So I am 24 years old. I'm a millennial, and I wear that badge with pride. I know millennial has sort of become a bad term describing somebody who is lazy and has a bad work ethic, but I think that actually millennials are the exact opposite of that. And so that's why we're making the Millennial Agora, not just for millennials, but for everybody to come together and share their ideas. And now I'll toss it over to my co-host to explain a little bit more about himself.
Right. So, just if I'm supposed to say something about myself, I'm from Prague, Czech Republic, um, where I was born. I'm studying here media studies, and I studied this even not. I'm studying now on a university, but I also studied this similar topic on a high school, and so that's where I kind of got idea of doing journalism as a profession. Uh, I never wanted to do something like journalism. I wanted to become a politician when I was around like 12 years until like 16, 17. It was my big goal to be a politician because I was very interested in politics. I was fascinated by it. And I really thought it's something how you can change the world. But as I'm growing up, I am kind of getting the feeling that the best way how to make some positive impact on the world is to inform people about uh, how the world really is, than try to be the one in a politics. So I uh, I think journalism was kind of a better way to go if you want to do a positive impact on the world. Uh, so
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. Just so
yeah,
everybody knows, I mean, I also wanted to be a politician, not I guess in the traditional sense of the word. I didn't want to be, a member of the House of Representatives or Congress or
yeah,
something, but more international diplomacy side. And I realized that
hmm
there are a lot of people out there who have very strong
yeah,
opinions about politics, but really don't know much about it, and just sort of
hmm
recycle what they hear online or hear from their friends. And I totally agree with
I
Nikolaj
mean,
that.
it's
Yeah, but,
is I'm
no,
sorry
no.
for interrupting you, but it's like in Czech here. I start getting in interested in politics when I was really young because my father was working kind of like in a government uh, uh, section, and he knew a lot of politicians. And a really close friend of my family is actually from used to be a minister of foreign affairs. And so I was really interested when I was primary school. You call it in English, right? Primary school, what we have here in Czech.
Yeah, I think in America we
Yeah,
call it elementary school. I think in England they call it
elementary
primary
school.
school.
Yeah, yeah, that's better. Because it's it's different. The school system in Czech and in America. So I was very interested by the time, and when I was like, for example, 12, 13, I was very it's wrong word is bullied, but kind of like being laughed at for it, that I was interested in politics. And it was something that fascinated me the most because everyone was like in a football or in like video games and hockey and blah 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 sports, and I was the one little kid like wearing like a jacket blazer to a school.
And
uh
he still wears
and
his jacket and a blazer every day, so
yeah.
that hasn't changed.
And trying to like understand politics and sharing like articles on his Facebook page, and everybody else were like what's this kid's deal? He's like, he's not normal. He's weird. And I never actually thought of myself as weird, but it's kind of funny to see how people are having this negative feeling about politics, and it actually stays with them, not from like this young age, like because it's weird to talk about politics when you're 12, of course, because you're not supposed to talk about politics. You're supposed to like play football and stuff. but it stays with the people until they're in old age, and it's kind of funny to see that it's kind of like some sort of taboo to
Yeah,
talk about.
it's definitely a late development, and I think I don't know how it was in Czech Republic, although I assume it's the same. That when I was younger, in elementary school and in middle school, when you would ask kids their political opinion, they would basically just say whatever their parents' opinion was. So I remember people asking me what my political opinion was at the time. My mom was pretty conservative. My dad was also pretty conservative,
Hmm.
and so I would say, "Yeah, I'm Republican. I'm a conservative." And now I would be completely,
Hmm.
I would be yelling at myself in
Yeah.
terms of as a Republican. So it sort of changed. I think when you're young, you just kind of say whatever your
Hmm.
parents think. So yeah,
Yeah, but it's pretty common in America, right? That you're mostly because yes, I think it was yesterday. Uh, Me and my girlfriend we talked about an article where that just 4% of American marriages are from like different opinion parties. Like only 4% of American marriages are like Republican with Democrat, and the rest of them, like the 96%, is just Republican to Republican, Democrat to Democrat, and the whole families are mostly the same opinions, and just keeping it like in a family. So the kids often stays the same in the same political party, or like supporting the same political party as their parents.
yeah, I think that that's kind of true. And I think there's more to that than just politics. I think a lot of people tend to marry people from their own area. So, if you're living in New York City, you're probably going to marry somebody from New York City. And New York City is a very liberal city,
Hmm.
so you're probably going to marry somebody who's a Democrat. But if you live in Alabama, you're probably going to marry somebody who's a Republican. I would agree to that less between families because, I mean, for example, I know in my family, I have one side of the family that is very left leaning, very
Hmm.
democratic, and another side of the family that is pretty conservative. But within those family groups, there are also more conservative and more liberal
Hmm.
people, especially when you talk about age differences. And I think that's the same pretty
Yeah.
much everywhere. That older people tend to be conservative,
Hmm.
young people tend to be
I mean, of
liberal.
course, yeah.
Um, yeah, but it's really true. And I mean, in my personal family as well, I mean, my mom is, very religious, very, tends to be very conservative. And my dad is not very religious at all, and more on the liberal side.
I mean,
And
that's
it
weird,
has
right?
caused some
That
problems.
that your
Yeah,
that
it
your
has
that
caused
your.
some
I mean,
problems because
your father is like Italian, right? He's 100% Italian. It's pretty
yeah,
weird that
he's
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 not
uh, he's
a
Italian,
Catholic.
and yeah, I mean he was raised Catholic. I mean, he was baptized and
Hmm.
everything, but as we have people in America who only go to church on Easter and Christmas, and my dad was definitely one of
Hmm.
them. So
Yeah, in Czech,
he
like
was raised
nobody
Catholic there.
is Christian, or like we tend to, because since Czech people could be called like very traditional. Uh, we like really want to keep our tradition. At least like people, that's what they say. But we are really not Christian at all. Like I think after we're like the most atheist country after North Korea.
Yeah, I was reading that too. That
Yeah.
Czech Republic, there's almost no like believers, as we would say,
Mm.
and I find that really interesting. That Czech Republic is such an atheist country, yet outside of Prague, it's a very conservative country. Because normally in America, there's sort of parallels. The South, for example, is a very religious area. It's a very Republican, very conservative area.
Yeah.
And the West, like California, is more atheist and more liberal. So I
Mhm.
always found that very interesting that Czech Republic is pretty much the opposite of that.
Now we're
So
very atheist, yet so conservative and
yeah,
traditionalist.
yeah. So it's very interesting. But yeah, but back to the point of you were saying, yeah, it can definitely cause a lot of problems when the people are from two different parties,
Hmm.
especially because especially now that everything is so partisan and everything is so divided,
Hmm.
that if you say one thing about one candidate or one person, it can cause a huge argument. Um,
Yeah, of course.
and so
Like I cannot imagine living with super left wing Democrat.
yeah, I don't think that
I
would
mean,
be
that's
well.
basically talking to you for me.
Yeah, I mean,
Like sometimes we really can get into a like super huge fight where I'm really, really, really mad at you and I just want to punch you in the face because
which is why we normally have these conversations
because
on the phone. That way, I can't get punched in the face.
yeah. because for me you are very very yeah, left leaning for me. But it's because I'm from Czech Republic, and here like the standards of conservatism and liberalism is quite a little bit different than in US. For example, here in Czech, I would be probably considered as liberal.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, like I said, I live in Germany full time when COVID is not happening, and they always say that the American Democratic Party would in Germany be their conservative party.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
their left leaning parties, like Social Democrats and the Greens, whatever, are more to left than our Democrats. But I think in the Czech Republic, it's sort of the opposite of, our Democratic Party here would almost be more to left than your left parties in the Czech Republic.
Hmm.
So, with some exceptions, of course, because I know you guys have like a communist party and stuff. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that's different. I mean, Czech Republic to me is there really is a divide in politics between Germany and Czech Republic, for example. Like when you cross the
Mm.
border, a lot of the
Yeah,
societal
definitely.
norms are different. But anyway, yeah, enough about that. If you want to have a deep dive into Czech politics, we can do that. But
I mean,
Mikhail, I'm
I don't
sure
think
can.
anybody would be interested because it's just so it's so messed up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I have a lot of.
It would be interesting, but it would be interesting, but I don't think I'm capable of talking about it for people who have no idea what is going on here.
Yeah, I think
Because
it'd be tough to give an introduction.
yeah,
I
exactly.
will say though that Czech politics, as far as what I see on Facebook and stuff, is very easy to meme. So that's
Yeah,
that's one of the good things you have going for you.
it's just so much going on, and it's so hilarious because it's so ridiculous.
That's life. Life's ridiculous, right? So anyway, so we promised you our origin stories, our superhero origin stories. So about how we met. In case you're wondering, although I bet nobody cares, but I did promise at the beginning, so I'm going to fulfill my promise. I went to Germany to go to university, and when I arrived in Germany, it was like my third time being there. But I was always there as a tourist, so I spoke no German, besides like hallo and danke. And now I'm going to just study full time in German. So I went to a language school for 1 year, learned German, and now I was with Mikolash, who was also at the same language school learning German, and yeah, and we became friends ever since then. And now we have
I mean, it
now
was
a
in
podcast together.
2016, right?
2015. Yeah, 2015.
15.
Yeah,
Jesus
I know it's been
Christ,
6 years already.
time
It's
flies.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we were both much younger. We both matured a lot. Well,
I remember.
I
I
don't know about
remember
that.
that I first saw you when we were in Bad Dreizehn in Regensburg at a karaoke night, and you told me that you're American. I was like, and I was like, I never saw anyone from America. Like, I never talked with anybody from America when I was in 2015. So I was like, damn, he got to be cool. And then I saw you, and I was okay, he looks like a regular dude.
Yeah, I don't know why.
But I like it, like I because I know I came there, and someone told me that, like, yes, come guy's color. First of all, I was like, girl's name, uh, and
It's for both genders,
I
okay?
know, I didn't know at that time. I just know that there's because I saw some movie, and there was a girl called Skylar. So I was like, this girl's name. And but I was like, he's from America. He has to look like he's A, fat, or B, like looks like Tom Cruise, and it's like super cool,
I
and
love
like,
how there's only two ends of the
and
spectrum. There's no like regular guy. It's just like a
yeah. So I
model
was
or
like
fat.
imagining like someone really cool, and then like, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm sorry to
got it,
disappoint you. Sorry about that. But yeah, but somehow, and I thought Mikolas was a complete idiot because he was wearing like a pink shirt, and I thought he was from Russia, and he was super loud and like smoking cigarettes in my face, and I was like, man, who is this jerk? And we became best friends. So sometimes people you hate the most become your best friends. It just
yeah.
happens that way. But yeah, man, that brings back some memories, man. Yeah, if any of you guys ever go to Germany and you're looking for a nice city away from the tourists, definitely go to Regensburg. It's great for
Yeah,
partying.
definitely.
So it's a nice little town. Has a lot of history too. So, okay, so
Yeah, it's super. It's like it's really old city. I know that like first priests in Czech Republic, or like Czech country. were trained
Oh
in
wow.
Regensburg,
Yeah.
which is just some
Yeah, yeah,
like fun fact.
that's really cool. Yeah, it's a lot of history. So my dad has a friend who one time said there's a lot of history in Europe. So yeah, there's a lot of history in Regensburg.
Yeah, that's,
So,
it's like could be news from for
yeah, yeah,
Americans, but
no,
like,
yeah, yeah. I love how there's a stereotype in Europe that all Americans are dumb, which for the most part isn't true. Although I will say we do have our fair share of people who you just want to slap sometimes. But but I think for the most part, Americans at least know that Prague exists or Germany exists. So that's good. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, so that's about us. We've wasted 20 minutes not talking about old memories. Once again, we're from the Millennial Agora. We would invite you to our website to check out what we're about. Whether you are a fan of politics or literature or fashion or sports, you're going to find something there that's for you. We have a team right now of 8 contributors, including Mikolash and myself, who are writing articles every day, trying to grow the website. So we invite you to become a part of the Agora and talk about your opinions and stuff. And so we're going to start by talking about something that has been part of the news, you could say, for the past year or so, and that would be the COVID pandemic. I know I have heard
Jesus.
from people who I watch on YouTube and stuff that if you mention COVID on YouTube, that the video will automatically be demonetized because there's so much
Yeah.
misinformation out there about COVID. I
Hmm.
think Mikolash and I both know that this video is probably not going to be monetized. I don't think we're going to reach the a
Yeah.
thousand subscribers after one podcast, although that would be great. But we're still going to talk
Yeah.
about COVID. Um,
So we can, yeah,
yeah.
so we can talk about it now, but like after
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
we have to
Get the sense for
censor
ourselves.
us.
And I want to say full disclosure that we're going to talk about COVID and about how it's affected our lives. We're not going to be talking about the disease itself. Neither of us are doctors. We're not going to be telling you how to live your life or whatever. Because I think Mikolash and I pretty much agree on what's the best thing to do for COVID. But
Yeah.
we're not going to give any sort of medical advice because we're not doctors. So we're just going to talk about how it's affected our lives. So anyway, yeah, COVID sort of came out of nowhere. I remember I come home from Germany every year for Christmas, no matter what, to see my parents and my family who live here in the States. And when I was here at Christmas of 2019, that was, and I stayed here until January 2020, it was on the news every night about Wuhan, the city in China, being quarantined and shut down. And then the disease was kind of growing to like Beijing and other cities around China. And then I think it went to like Australia or something. And it was sort of like, it was always on the news, but it was kind of like the fifth or sixth story. It wasn't like a big story. So when I left to go back to Germany to resume my studies, um, I think in February we had our first case in the United States in California. And we kind of were deciding the country. I mean, not me, and my parents, but the country. Trump, who was president back then, was deciding what to do, and a lot of people, including my own parents, who really take this stuff seriously, they were like, I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal. Before COVID, we had swine flu back in the 2010s. We had the Zika virus in 2016 that came from Brazil. And the media, made this huge point about these viruses, and then they kind of didn't affect that many people. So we thought COVID was kind of going to be the same thing. This big deal the media made out of nothing, and sooner or later we found out that was really wrong. Especially,
Yeah.
yeah, especially me being in Europe. I was there when Italy started to get really hit hard, and Austria, and France, and eventually it came to a point where I actually was going on vacation to Northern Ireland. My mom was flying over, going to meet me there, and then she was going to go to Latvia for a little like spring vacation. And I was going to go to Northern Ireland for a little bit. I'd never been there before. I was really excited, and I was staying at an airport hotel at Frankfurt Airport in Germany, and I was watching CNN, and they came on with like breaking news on CNN that all NBA games, basketball games in America, had been canceled. And in fact, there was one NBA game that night, I think taking place in Utah, that they actually shut the game down in the middle of the game and told all the fans to go home. Other leagues waited till that end of that night, but that game they actually canceled right in the middle of it, and I was like, man, this is getting really serious. So I go to bed and I wake up at like 3 in the morning Germany time, or something like 8 p.m. over here in Houston, and I turn on CNN just to make sure the world hasn't blown up, and I learned that Trump has made or had made a order saying that the border was closed. The border to the U.S. was closed, and you could only get into the U.S. from the U.K. or Ireland. And at that time, he didn't say anything about U.S. citizens. So my dad, who was still in America, he stayed behind, didn't come to Europe. My mom called me and was like, "Hey, you might have to come home like tonight. Like we'll find you a flight or whatever." And it was just chaos. So I fly to Northern Ireland because at that point I'm in the UK, so I'm in the best country to be in, pretty much. In case I do have to go home, and it was really surreal. I had a Ryanair flight. For those of you who don't know, Ryanair is a budget airline in Europe, very popular. I was on a Ryanair flight from Frankfurt to London, and then getting a connection from London to Belfast in Northern Ireland, and the flight from Germany to the UK to London was just all Americans, and it was so strange. And all of them were talking about how they got this flight like last night. They booked it to get home because they were so worried about seeing their families again and everything. And me, I'm sitting there just going on vacation. Like I'm gonna take a weekend in Northern Ireland and have some good beer and some good food and go back home. And so everybody was like freaking out, and I'm just sitting there going on vacation. And my mom, meanwhile, is on a KLM flight going to Amsterdam, where she's going to get her connection to Belfast, Northern Ireland. And the flight attendant comes over to her and says, "Are you American or are you Dutch?" My mom's like, "I'm American." And she said, "I want you to know that President Trump has closed your border totally. So when we land in Amsterdam, we don't know if we can get you back home." So, that's a great thing to tell somebody when they're on a plane 35,000 feet up. So my mom connects to their Wi-Fi, which is terrible at best, and tries to contact me and everything. And finally, we both was okay. Let's go to the UK. Let's go to Northern Ireland. Let's just get there, and then let's attempt to enjoy ourselves with the weekend. If we have to go back, at least we're in the UK, which is one of these countries that hasn't been closed yet, as the entire EU has been closed. So we go there, and while we're in Belfast, we were there for 5 days. And by the way, Belfast is a great town. If you've never been there, definitely visit. They have great food, great scenery, great area. Anyway, we go to Belfast, we have a great time, but as we're there, the situation deteriorates further and further and further. And eventually, the UK and Ireland also become closed to the United States. But US citizens can still get home. So we finish our trip, and mom goes back to Amsterdam, where her flight was back to Houston, back to Texas. And she flies out, and I make a flight for the Wednesday. My mom went back on that Monday. I had one full day in Germany to get my things ready and come back. And that was March 18th, the day after St. Patrick's Day. And I've been home ever since. So it was expected to be a 1 month little stay in America until COVID went bye bye. I'm still here, and I've been here, like I said, since March. So, and I will be here probably at least until April. So yeah, it was a real crazy night. It was very surreal. It was just everything. As I said, the world sort of ended, at least for me, in the span of one night, because I'm a huge sports fan, and all the sports in America were canceled in one night. Hockey, basketball, everything canceled in one night, and the borders were closed. And it was like everything just happened in this one night. That was crazy. And being in here in Texas, we're a very Republican state, but Houston, or the city where I live in, is a very liberal, very democratic city. So the state has stayed open to tourism. There's indoor dining here. There's outdoor dining. There's basically no restrictions at all, like in any parts of the state. But Houston itself has made restrictions. So like here, like you can't really do indoor dining. You have to be at like 50% capacity only, all that kind of stuff.
So, sorry. So in America, the restrictions like lockdown, etc. I mean lockdown of the like restaurants, shops, blah blah blah. It's I know it's not given like by the federal government, right? But of the government, of the like local government, for example, Houston can have its own restrictions. Then, for example, some other Texas cities or like whole state of Texas has its one restrictions that are same for the whole state, every city, etc.
So the state of Texas can make restrictions, and then the individual counties or the
Yeah.
cities can make restrictions that are harsher than
Hmm.
that go further than that, but they can't make restrictions that are
Okay.
easier than that. So for the state of Texas, we might have a restriction that says you can only have 75% capacity in
Hmm.
indoor restaurants, but Houston put that at 25%.
Hmm.
But Houston couldn't do 100%. They could say we
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
care.
yeah, of course, yeah,
So
got it.
because that would be breaking the
Hmm.
state law. Um, but yeah, I know that in Europe you guys have still, I know in Germany, a real
Yeah,
lockdown where like you really
yeah,
can't go out except for work. We never really had that in
yeah.
Houston. I think the
I
first
mean,
month I was home,
in
we had a sort of a
mhm,
lockdown, but we've never been like
yeah.
quarantined where we cannot leave except for
Hmm.
emergencies.
I mean, in Czech, I don't know how it's in Germany. If you cannot go outside after some hours, or if it's like for a whole day, except for going to work or shopping. But in Czech here, like going out is not forbidden, but it's not recommended. Like you should stay at home if you can. Um, in Czech, it started in I think in 13th of March. I think. Yeah. I think it was. Yeah. And your way of getting into the COVID was much more dramatic than mine,
Yeah.
because you were like flying all over the Europe with your parents, and it was just huge mess. You have to be so scared because it's really like pretty chaotic situation that you were in.
Yeah, it was really scary. Yeah,
But mine, I
definitely.
I remember that on the beginning there was just like some cases, and we're just making fun of like, blah blah blah. There are like two people that have COVID. It's like it's nothing. It's just some. They'll be cured like in no time.
Yeah.
It's just the flu. Blah blah blah. We're just like just joking about it, and then it was like the restrictions started like really slowly. Like for example, the bars have to be open just till 10 p.m. So we were like, oh, we have to get drunk before 10 p.m. So and then it was like it has to be closed before 8 p.m. So at that point we were like, because starting the restriction that restaurants and bars cannot be opened after 10 p.m. was on, for example, Monday, and then on Wednesday was the restriction that it has to be open until 8 p.m. So we're like, oh, this is happening pretty fast. Like it didn't even took like a week to try out if it works. It was like really really fast. And then on Friday, I was supposed to go to work. I work in a bookstore as a part-time job during my studies, and I was supposed to go to work. And I woke up because I was supposed to be there at 9 a.m. So I woke up really early, and I look at my phone, and there was a text message from my boss, and it says like everything is closed. You don't have to go to work. It's just a lockdown. And I was like, yeah, that's really cool. I have a lot of time on my hands. I can do whatever. It was like really adventurous. It was really really nice. Really really.
It was sort of like a different feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And now when I remember the feeling that I had was like really, it was really neat. Like everything was closed. You could relax a bit. School was really confused. Like my university was so confused, they didn't know what's happening.
Mine too was
So the
completely
exams,
unprepared. It was crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, mine too. I mean, I understand it because no one was prepared for this. But so it was nice. The exams were amazing, super easy. And everything. So I love writing. I love to write like stories and stuff. So I was like, finally, I have time to write. I have time to write. I have time to play video games that I didn't finish. I have time to focus on my readings, blah blah blah. and it was really funny. Uh, but like after a month, we were like really bored and really frustrated because there was like no solution in the near future, and it was getting kind of claustrophobic. And I think our lockdown ended, like the hardest lockdown ended on June or May. I'm not really sure. I think end of the May, I think. And the whole summer was basically like before COVID, like nothing happened. Like everything was open until like 4 a.m. Like all the bars. Um, no restrictions whatsoever. Maybe at the beginning there were like restriction that you have to wear face mask and stuff, and but then they cancel it too, so you didn't have to wear face masks even in like public transportation. Nothing.
Oh my gosh.
And then yeah, and and then
So you guys went from one end of the spectrum to the other.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
just,
I know. I know that at the beginning of the lockdown, on in the March, that there was no face masks in Czech Republic whatsoever. Like not even doctors have in hospitals. No, nowhere. So people in Czech, we went to a shops. We bought like so much like textile and ropes, like strings and stuff, and we're just sitting at home like I think like at least like 50% of the population was just sewing like their own face masks, and we're sending it to hospitals.
that's really awesome.
And it was
Yeah,
really
it's
like
really
really
cool.
cool. Like people were so connected by this whole mess, and it was so like nice to see how the country can come together to solve some solutions. But now it's just total mess. So it ended. The lockdown ended at May, and the summer was like totally nothing happened. No COVID. No one was talking about it.
Yeah, I know you guys. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But I know you guys had this big like dinner on the Charles
Yeah.
Bridge
Oh my god, that was
to
so
celebrate the end
yeah.
of restrictions. It was actually that was actually on our news, and my mom was like, "Are they
Yeah,
sleeping
yeah.
over
We're
there?"
dumb.
Like, yes,
And
yes, we are.
it was did by the like the opposition, or like the we have a government. We have a government that rules like with the PM in a that as a leader, and then the opposition is like uh, non-governmental part of the and this was actually organized by them who were like really critical about all the restrictions and how it's not working, blah blah blah, and they did this.
And so, is the opposition? Are they really conservative or really liberal in Czech?
uh, Man, it's hard to say. It's hard to say because this government is uh, basically two parties, social democrats, ANO, which are you can specify if they are liberal or conservative. They're really empty. They're politically empty,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you
And
cannot
that's
tell. But
the
I would
party
say
of
I would
the
say kind of
yeah, yeah, and that's the
conservative.
party of the
Yeah,
prime minister is the ANO. Yeah.
prime minister. Yeah, yeah. And they are supported. The government. They are not. The third party isn't part of the government, but they are supporting it, and the third party is communists. So you can tell that opposition is conservative or like right wing ish, but you have some parties there that are liberal, and it's just kind of mess. So you cannot really tell that uh, if it's liberal or conservative. So
Yeah, I would think you guys have to be one of the few countries in Europe that have the Communist Party as
yeah,
supporting the
yeah,
government.
that's amazing. Especially that we are one of the countries from Eastern Bloc from Cold War. So that's amazing. Yeah. So as I was saying, the lockdown during summer not didn't happen. Nothing was going on. But then on October, I think, in the middle of October, we went back to the lockdown, like strict lockdown, and we opened after almost 2 months. During December, they opened like all shops and shopping malls and stuff, which was just a like super populist move because they wanted just to open shops for Christmas, so people can buy stuff for Christmas gifts and so on. And they closed after 24th of December again, and so far we're in lockdown. And government yesterday or 2 days ago, uh, like Chamber of Deputies, they canceled the lockdown basically, and after Monday we should have limited restrictions that we are, for example, shops will get opened, and so on and so on. So
Yeah, I know they're talking
yeah,
about the same thing in Germany.
and
I
yeah,
follow the news there, and they're also saying that they're gonna maybe take away some of the restrictions. But yeah, I remember you texting me during Christmas that you were like, didn't work for 2 months, and then you worked for
yeah.
like two
I
weeks
was I
straight,
was I
and then you
was
were
I was
done.
at work
Yeah.
like every day during December, which is crazy because it's cold. It's like perfect environment for every virus ever,
Yeah, exactly. And
and they opened everything.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, and like people going into closed shops or like shopping malls, and in that kind of environment is not good. But you, during that Christmas time, you had to wear masks, right, when you went outside, or no?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Okay. And do you
Inside,
have to?
outside.
Yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
mean, when you went out, And do you have
yeah.
to wear masks now when you go out in public, or no?
So when you're out like on the street, you don't have to wear anything. But if you go to some open shops, you have to have your mask on, or in public transportation.
I see. And are you guys allowing to eat inside or only
No,
outside?
no, no. Everything is closed. Just the windows where you can like take away. That's the only thing that's opened. So it's really bad time for anybody who's like having a restaurant, hotel, or bar or something.
Yeah, man, it's always sad. I mean, like I don't want to get too much into the politics and stuff, but it's really sad to see that all these restaurants are
Yeah.
closing, all these stores. I know like in New York City, for example, there was a restaurant, a steakhouse that closed weeks ago, and they had been there since the 1800s. It
Yeah.
was like one of the
Jesus.
first restaurants in New
Yeah.
York City, and they couldn't make
Mm.
it. And it's just really sad to see people who put so much money and time and effort into keeping these places open, and obviously it's for necessary reasons that we have these restrictions, but it's sad to see. It's sad to see that these places are
Mm.
closing, and also
Definitely.
then you have people, in the government who are just doing nothing
Mm.
about it. It's just really sad to see, but yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's crazy that this is still going on.
Yeah. I
I know
remember
you.
that
Yeah.
in March. Yeah. I exactly what you said. We thought it would be like a two weeks adventure, and then we will go on with our lives. And now it's taken a year, and I'm sitting at home
Yeah.
almost for a year, with some little pauses, like during summer and Christmas. But whole year on my at my home, and just staring into a computer, like with online classes, and our project, what we did is just basically like a computer, staring into a computer job. So that's really really messed up, and my back is
Done.
totally, yeah, it's totally screwed up. And it's super cold outside
Yeah,
now in Czech, so not even walks are
dude, I'm telling you, man. So Houston is not prepared for cold at all,
yeah.
and this week we're gonna have minus 10 degrees
Really?
Celsius. Yeah,
Jesus.
which is like 18 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're gonna have snow and everything.
It's
There's like a
great.
freak storm that's coming in from
Oh
Canada,
my god.
and yeah, man, it's crazy. But yeah, I was joking around that I'm 24 years old with the body of a
Yeah.
60-year-old because my back has gotten so bad during this time, just sitting in a
Yeah.
chair.
I was trying to
Yeah,
do like some kind of workouts, and they actually I did it for some time, but then I just got so unmotivated in sitting on at home
Yeah, it's really tough.
that yeah
And I think a lot like you said, I think that was kind of the general attitude of the world that the first lockdowns we were in, it was cool, it was
yeah
interesting. It was like either I'm going to use this time to be super
yeah people are
productive.
trying to like do something for their
Yeah,
mental health.
exactly. Like
Like they go on a walks and they did
yeah,
workouts, they did their hobbies, blah blah
yeah,
blah, and now it's
yeah. And
just
now it's just people are just done. Like
constant. Yeah,
it's just yeah. I remember when I had the first lockdown, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do all this stuff. I'm gonna start writing more. I'm gonna read more and do all this stuff. And I did a lot of those things. And then now, a year later, it's like, all right, I guess I'll read again. Like, like,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah,
been
I'm reading one book for like almost 2 months at this point.
you were like one
Because
page a
it's
day. You're
because yeah,
done.
yeah, it's because mostly of my exams now that I have to read like mythology from old bards, which is it's interesting, but it's boring. Yeah, but it's still boring, and I'm so unmotivated to read anything else. I'm reading Yukio Mishima still, the one book that I told you about, and
Oh
I'm
yeah,
still
yeah, yeah,
reading it.
yeah,
So
yeah. You definitely read a lot of non-European literature,
I'm trying
which
to.
is
Yeah.
which is good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know the first time you told me you were reading a Japanese book, my mind instantly went to like manga, and I was like, I don't think he'd be interested in manga. Like I was really surprised,
Like
but
manga is not the
you
only thing that
forget that
Japan produce.
I
It's
know you
like
forget that Japan actually wrote like
yeah,
novels, like because we're so just there's so much talk in the culture about like manga, you forget there's actually novels that are really good. I read a novel last year called No Longer
mhm,
Human by one of the Japanese authors whose name escapes me right now, but it was excellent. Very very
yeah.
depressing.
Japanese
Not
people
definitely not
can
a
be
fairy
really
tale, but
depressing because this one
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
also
yeah.
kind
It
of
was really
dark, but I don't think it's supposed to
yeah,
be. But for me, it is. So
yeah, yeah. It's which I mean I'm I kind of like
yeah,
that kind of stuff. I don't like fairy tales with happy
yeah,
endings. So. That was right up my alley, as we say. Um, but yeah, it's been it's been crazy. I mean, I heard somebody say that they were really excited for the weekend. But for me,
yeah.
like
For me, every
every
day
day has
is
been the
weekend at
weekend.
this point. Yeah,
Like yeah, it's like I wake up and I'm like I think it's Thursday. I'm not sure though.
but it has to be. For example, it's so
Like
hard
it's
for
just
people who have like who are living in a small apartment with a family, like with little kids, and they have home office for work.
oh
It just
yeah,
has to be so obnoxious
yeah,
to take care of your
yeah.
kids, teach them because the schools are closed, and do work for yourself, like do work for your company, for your boss. It just has to be so frustrating for people, and just uh, yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, I have family out in California, and they have little kid who's my cousin.
hmm
He's like 8 years old now, I think, or 9 years old, and so he's in like first grade, and they're having their classes
Jesus,
all online, all virtual, and my aunt, his mother, was telling us about how
yeah,
depressed he's feeling, and he's like 9 years old because he can't see his friends stuff, and I was like, that's so terrible that these
yeah,
9-year-olds are feeling depressed. Like you shouldn't be depressed until you're at
yeah.
least 18. At 18, then you start feeling depressed, but
Yeah,
not when you're
9. Yeah,
nine.
this.
Like
Oh my
it's
god, it's
sort of
messed up.
it's really yeah, like it's terrible, man. I just and like all these like the really young kids growing up now, like 3 and 4 years old, like they're just gonna grow up not knowing that masks
Yeah,
aren't normal.
I mean,
Like they're gonna think
yeah.
that we just all wear
For example,
masks
I was
normally.
I'm
So
watching a movie like few days ago, and there are people sitting in a subway, like underground metro, and they're talking to each other, like two strangers, and I'm like, they're not wearing masks. Like that's really like they're
man,
very
I have
close
the
to each
same
other, and they're
thing.
not wearing masks. And I know
I
it's
have
it's
the
a movie from
same
like
thing.
1980s.
Yeah, I know. I do the same thing. But when I watched the movie, I was like, man, none of them are wearing masks. It's so stupid. I'm like, wait, it's from the '90s. Like, of course they're wearing masks. Like, yeah, it's so you get so used to it now. Like,
Yeah,
it's just crazy. Yeah, and I do say that I think people always sort of have an untrustworthiness of their fellow human for whatever reason.
Hmm.
But this whole pandemic has made me super untrustworthy of other people.
Yeah.
Like, where have you been? Do you wear a mask? Did you wash your hands? Like,
Hmm.
I don't trust anyone that they're not that
Yeah.
they don't have COVID. You know,
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
it's like I hear.
I trust everybody because at this point I'm so done that if I'm gonna catch it, I'm not doing for myself anything to prevent from me to catching it because I'm just so done. I'm just trying to prevent other people catching it from me, but I'm not protecting myself at all. For example, if someone wants to shake my hand, I'm gonna shake his hand. My hands are,
Are
um,
clean, hopefully.
clean,
Yeah.
yes, everything. But I don't care if his hands are clean because I'm just so done, and I want to live a normal life. And I know that I'm not in a risk group. I know that,
How nice that must be.
and for example, my parents, my mom is working in a hospital, and she got it. She got it. She's a doctor, and she got COVID. And my dad is, I think, over 60. Yes, over 60. So he's in the risk group, and and so first day when we knew that my mom is sick, we went all to the hospital just to get ourselves tested, and we get ourselves tested. We came up all negative, and my dad was like not giving a damn at all about that my mom is having COVID. He was like, he slept in a different room. He didn't sleep in the same room as her when she was positive. But I came there and they are sitting next to each other on a couch watching movie. I'm like, Dad, come on, like
Yeah, I would
you
I
should
that I
protect
wouldn't
yourself.
recommend.
But
I'm not a doctor,
and,
but I
and
wouldn't
you know what's the
recommend
funny
it.
thing? He wasn't positive. I was so mind blown by that because he didn't care at all, and he didn't got it. So just,
I mean, maybe he just has a really strong immune system,
yeah,
you know.
I
So
think so. My dad is really a strong human.
yeah, yeah,
Eastern
yeah.
European
I
man. What do
think
you
the
want?
he's had to go through so much pain in his life, you know, and now his immune system is like whatever. Yeah, I am in a high risk group because of some medical issues, so I have to be a lot
Yeah.
more careful. But I definitely understand that sort of mindset of people who just like I've heard people on various stories on Twitter and stuff, people almost purposely getting
Yeah.
COVID and then quarantining for the 14 days just so then they can't get it again and they're over with
Hmm.
it, you know.
It's not how it
Like
works, though,
so
right?
which
It works for some
I
people, but not for everybody.
it works for some people and that's why that's not like a doctor
Yeah.
recommended strategy.
Like,
Like there's no doctor saying like, hey, go out and get COVID.
I would
You know,
understand for people
because
to get it on purpose to not go to work, for example, but
you have to really hate your boss, like if you're getting a disease that can kill you, you know. But yeah, no, and I think that's the thing too. People sort of underestimate how dangerous it
Mhm.
can be, and I know a lot of people who are young, healthy adults who have no sort of health
Mhm.
issues, and they get COVID after 10 to 14 days. They're better,
Yeah.
they're fine, whatever they're negative, but they have these lingering
Hmm.
effects. Like I registered this one guy on Twitter who was 35 years old and was an athlete in the NFL and in football, in American football, and he
Yeah.
got COVID. Quarantined for 14 days was fine, whatever. Still, to this day, still has headaches
Mhm.
that are from the
Yeah.
COVID, and sometimes still can't smell or taste
Yeah.
because of COVID. Like it's just you have these like really weird lingering effects
Mhm.
from it, and yeah, that's the thing people underestimate. But it's definitely not something to take
Yeah,
casually,
exactly. We
you
have
know,
no idea
especially if you live
what
with
it
people
does
who
in
are
the
older.
long run
Yeah,
because we're not
yeah,
running it with in the long term. So we have no
yeah,
idea what it
exactly.
does to us.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm hoping to get the vaccine pretty soon. But here they're
Yeah.
really strict about who gets it because we have such a little
Yeah.
supply
We're
right now.
so, yeah.
And yeah, I mean I know Europe's doing
Yeah,
a
dude.
lot worse about the
We have
supply.
like 19,000 in whole check now at this point,
Oh my
and no one
god.
wants AstraZeneca.
Yeah, I heard this thing in Europe and Germany too, which I was shocked about because Germany is so anti-Russia. that a lot of countries now are turning to Russia to get their vaccine because either the government or the people trust it more, or because they could just get it
Hmm.
faster than the Western vaccines. And I know that there's some, American bias here, but I don't know if I would trust the Russian vaccine. It's just,
I
I
mean,
don't know. But apparently it
yeah,
works. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know because AstraZeneca and Pfizer were both tested by European Union, so that's why I trust them. But I don't know if it's called Sputnik, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah
So
that's what I guess.
I don't think one Sputnik will be tested by European Union. I have no issue to go with it. But
Yeah, I would agree too. I mean, like I said, this is all coming from two random people on the
exactly,
internet.
yeah.
So
None of
don't
us
don't
is
go to your
doctors. So
doctor and say, "Hey, Mikola Fahoshka told me this is safe, so I want to do it."
exactly.
Uh,
So,
but
but
but yeah, that's COVID. So
yeah,
uh,
it's just getting too long, and it's not good for anyone's mental health to sit at home every day and not do anything.
yeah, I
So
totally
that's why we
agree. I
started
mean,
this actually, because because I was trying to get some job in a journalism field, and before COVID, and then it started, and I was very as I said, I was busy with my hobbies and so on and so on, and now at like we started like preparing this like I think November, right? Or we talk about it in November, right? Yeah, November. That's why and I made it up because I had this thought for a long time, for a few years, but I didn't think I could pull it off. To get around so many people, to work with it, to convince the people to do it for free, and I'm really glad we did that because otherwise I would actually do nothing every day.
yeah, I know it's really kept me busy, and this is our official podcast, so I guess I can plug the website. But we post on there every day, and like I said, we have 8 different contributors who are writing right now for the podcast, and we chose these people especially because they have interest in politics, because they like to write, because they're educated and well spoken, all these kind of things. And it really surprised me how when I asked my friends, hey, my best friend and I are doing this thing. If you want to join, you can. And they're like, yeah, totally, this would be great. And there was so much enthusiasm. I
Yeah,
was like, oh,
exactly.
okay, cool. you know,
I was
yeah.
actually really surprised too because I was thinking that if I ask someone to do this, they would I'll have to convince them, like real like hardly convince them, because people don't like to do things for free, and we are not at a position where we could pay people yet. Hopefully, yet like that it will come one
But
day.
with your help, we can. So subscribe to the channel. yeah.
And then I was really excited how people actually see some kind of meaning behind it and see the purpose of it. And yeah, I'm really glad that so many talented people got abroad.
Yeah, me too. And
And amazing thing is that we gathered so many people from different countries. That we have a Greek, Hungarian, Slovakian,
a Swede,
Croatian,
yeah,
Swede,
a Czech, yeah.
Czech,
And it's
and
it's
so on
only
and so on.
it's only going to grow, and we're already kind of extending our outreach. I know that one of our articles that's going to be posted, I believe tomorrow, is actually an interview with a biologist from India.
Mhm.
So we're already spreading our reach beyond sort of the United States and Europe, which is great. But yeah, so it's really exciting, and it's a great quarantine thing to start,
Yeah.
because we all have time now, and it was great to finally be able to make this a reality. I was looking at our website, and I had done something like this very similar to this about, I would say, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I had started my own news blog, I guess you could say, that was very amateurish. That was very just cheap and free, and it was called The Sphere. And because Earth is a sphere, I was so deep when I was 16 years old, and I was reading some.
Still running?
It is not, so don't try to look it
Oh.
up. I stopped paying for the website, so I'm sorry it's not on there. But it was saved into my drafts on our website account, and I looked on there and I was like, man, these articles. It was basically just me just like copy and pasting articles for the New York Times, and then me like writing different headlines, and I thought that was journalism, and it really wasn't. So I'm glad that I've grown up from then and tried to do at
Yeah,
least
I
a
think
semblance of real journalism. So.
yeah. I'm really surprised how all of us, because none of us is a professional journalist, and we're just a bunch of people who
And
like to do.
I think that you are the only ones actually studying any sort of journalism major on
Well,
minor.
Adam is also studying it, and Teresa
Okay.
is also studying it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So, and we're not studying journalism, but it's more of a. It's called media studies,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
which is like a combination of journalism and PR and
Yeah. I found that really to be unique in Europe when I applied for universities in Europe. That in America, our universities have like not exaggerating like 1,000 majors you can choose from,
Mhm.
everything from history to like 18th century Russian history. Like it's so specific. And we
Oh
have
my
like
god.
journalism schools, and you can learn how to do journalism as your major university. And when I applied for my university in Germany, there were like 15 majors, and that was
Yeah.
it. And then you do a bunch of classes within those majors. But so that's why I don't think there's like a journalism major, just part of media studies. But yeah, I was surprised by how unspecific the majors are in Europe. But yeah, anyway, so I didn't mean to interrupt, but I tried to get that
Yeah,
point
it's
in.
yeah, it's good thing to point out. So yeah, so I'm not the only one who's studying it, but I think uh, that I wouldn't still call myself like professional or something like that,
No, no, no.
because
I'm not gonna call myself a
but
professional journalist until either A, we get paid, or B, I get a press pass to an event.
yeah.
So that's gonna be the day. So yeah.
Yeah. So by that I was very surprised how what a quality of the articles is.
Yeah,
They
me
are
too.
very good actually,
Yeah.
and I'm really glad for that, because I knew that it will take time for us to grow, to learn. But I think like everyone who posted like their second article, the quality is basically on
Yeah.
almost pro. Like
I mean, there's a lot
it's
of
crazy to see
there's a lot of
the progress.
uh, sites and pages on Facebook, for example, that have hundreds of thousands of followers for news. And I read some of them. I'm not going to mention any names, but I read some of them, and it's just terrible journalism. Either bad journalism or bad writing. Like tons
Hmm.
of mistakes and not source, all this kind of stuff. And our articles, I feel like, have really grown a lot, especially from the first
Mm.
article to the other articles people have written, that they've really grown a lot, and it's like really professional looking journalism, even if you aren't professionals. So I'm really proud of that. Because there's a lot of just really bad stuff
Yeah.
online you can read. And we tried to sort of take a bit of inspiration from established newspapers, like the New York Times and the Washington Post and stuff, and because those if they're having millions of followers, millions of readers a day, they must be doing something right.
Yeah, of course.
So we took that as kind of our inspiration, but yeah, so that's the Millennial Agora, and we really invite you to check it out and see what it's all about. Was there anything else you want to talk about today, or?
I don't think I think we don't have to make it too long.
Yeah,
So
yeah. This is our very first
I
episode,
would
so this
probably
is,
just mention the clubhouse things, and
yeah.
I think we can wrap it up.
Oh yeah, and maybe we could talk about this for a little while.
Oh yeah, of course.
Uh, so Clubhouse, if you don't know what this is, it is an app that is blowing up on the internet, I would say. I didn't know this existed until 2 weeks ago, when I got an invite from Mikolash to join. So what Clubhouse is, as far as I know, and Mikolash can help me here if I get it wrong, it's sort of a live audio podcast. Is kind of how it works. You go into these rooms. Would have different topics and different themes, everything from entrepreneurship and business to sports and relationships, everything you can think of. And there are people up on the stage who are speaking, people in the audience who are listening. And if you have a point to make or you want to add something, you can raise your hand virtually and go up onto the virtual stage and speak. And so it may not sound like that much of a, exhilarating or unique idea, but it is actually really fascinating. And it's grown a lot. They just started it back last year, I think in like October or something. And already they have like, hundreds of thousands of people, and it's invite only. So it's not like Facebook or Twitter where anybody can join. You have to have an invite from a members already on. And there have been big celebrities like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. In fact, last week I was in a room with Mark Zuckerberg, and he was talking about how VR, virtual reality, is going to really change, the world and stuff. And whatever your
21
opinion
Savage.
is.
I'm getting recommended 21 Savage all the time. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't think you listen to 21 Savage. So
Yeah, at all. I don't know
yeah,
why it's keep recommended to me.
really strange. But
But
yeah,
he's there. Just
yeah, and I know that next week Elon Musk and Kanye West are going to be hosting a room together, which is going to be great meme material at the very least. But yeah, I mean, whatever your opinion is on Mark Zuckerberg and everything, it was really fascinating to hear him talk about this kind of stuff that could be the future, and it was really cool. He even said that he can say stuff to us there that he can't say in like press briefings and to the media and stuff. So it was great to have this sort of like humanized connection with
Mhm.
a huge CEO.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really cool because sorry for
no,
interrupting,
go ahead. Yeah.
but in Czech, like of course, Czech also have their own like website society, and there are also like there's a lot journalists who talk about what's going on in Czech Republic and so on and so on, and they're exactly what you said, that they are saying something what they wouldn't probably say live, what they would say uh, in an article or in an
Yeah, because
uh,
the
yeah.
thing is, according
So
to the rules, you can't record what's said
mhm,
in the clubhouse. So,
exactly.
yeah, so that's why I just wanted to
So
add that.
that's really cool to have, and they are really a big names. So you can get so much information to yeah, just so much information that you wouldn't probably get on a regular basis.
Yeah,
So
and so how that ties into the Millennial Agora is that Mikalash and I are going to start a room on Clubhouse for aspiring journalists and aspiring writers to go in and share your ideas and problems you may have, issues you may face, and help all of us to grow. Because there are a lot of people out there who are doing what we do. A lot of people who are grinding, as they say now, every day trying to get followers and readers, whether you write news or short stories or novels, whatever it is. And Mikolash can attest to this. He's actually a published novelist in the Czech Republic, and I'm sure he was telling me about it was kind of hard to find a publishing house, and there are a lot of people who are creating really great things that just need a platform, need an outlet, and we want to kind of help with that as much as we can. So if you are on Clubhouse, you should definitely follow us both on there, and we'll be announcing that room shortly. But yeah, Clubhouse is really just taking over a lot. It was even talked about on our economic news here in America because they're thinking maybe Facebook might try to buy it one day, which
yeah,
I'm,
of
I'm
course, they're
probably
buying
against.
everything.
Yeah, right. They own everything. Um, but um, but yeah, it's a really cool app. If you're not on there already, try to get an invite. I saw people on Twitter selling invites for $100 each. Like that's how crazy this app is. Don't buy an invite. Don't spend $100 on an invite, please. It's not that great. Save your money and buy something
And
better.
I think you can get it very easily
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
ask people
You can
or
just ask people.
online or your
Yeah.
friends and so on. Because I
Exactly.
was very surprised because I was very early on Clubhouse
Yeah, yeah,
for a Czech person,
yeah.
and I was very surprised who is already there, like from my friends group.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
very surprised who is already there.
Yeah, I have a few of my friends who are on there too, so clearly I was a bit out of the loop, but it's great, and it's also personally I find it very motivating. I listen to a lot of like entrepreneur rooms on there and small business rooms and stuff, and these people have great ideas on how to grow businesses, and it really sort of motivates me
Mhm.
to do better with the Millennial Agora. So it's really great for that, and really great also just want to chill. Listen to some nice conversation. There are super serious rooms, and then there are funny rooms. I remember a couple weeks ago they actually had an open mic stand-up comedy room, and the people would come up and just do stand-up jokes, and like all open mic nights, some stand up was great and some was not so great, but it was just kind of nice to just chill and listen to people. So if you like podcasts, if you like audiobooks, and if you like being inspired, then I highly recommend trying to join Clubhouse. This is not an ad for Clubhouse, by the way. I wish it was. I wish they were paying us already, but they're not. So yeah, that's Clubhouse.
But yeah, we'll be there. So that's
Yeah.
really will be a nice touch to connect us with the readers and with the
Yeah.
followers of ours, and
So if you want to join us on there,
can do it more
great.
interactive.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's pretty much it for our first episode. I know it was sort of all over the place at times, and we're gonna get more organized and more crisp than when we do this. But thank you guys so much for listening. Remember to check out our website, millennialagora.com. That's MILLENNIALAGORA.com. I did it. Nice. And
It's kind of hard. Yeah, the word is
but if you know
hard
how
to
to spell
spell.
millennial, you know how to spell Agora, just put them together and put a .com at the end. There you go. We're also on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Instagram. Every social media site that's ever existed, we're on there. So give us a follow, subscribe, like, all that kind of stuff. And if you guys like what you heard, like what you read, let us know in the comments below. Let us know if you have any ideas for future podcasts, future articles, and we will be seeing you in episode 2, which will come out sometime within the next 2 weeks. So thank you guys for listening, and have a great day.